Hi, this is Nikki of Nikkie's Guide to a Healthier Lifestyle. And I just wanted to talk to you on a serious note. You guys always see me laughing and joking or hear me laughing and joking. I'm always on videos smiling and laughing and having a jolly good time. But there was a time in my life where I wasn't happy and I didn't have any joy and I didn't know where I would find my next ray of sunlight. I came out of a very tumultuous marriage. It was very rough, very tough. I'm a 20-year survivor of domestic violence. First started in 1995, and it was a little playful shoves and stuff. And this is, mind you, this is a very serious note, and I'm being very, very transparent with you guys. And just praying that you would listen with your heart. And it started in 1995, and it was very casual, shoving and pushing, just little things, little quirks. And, I laughed it off and played it off. And, and then gradually the violence escalated to black eyes and bruises and objects being thrown at me, and I'm being cut up, and my head being banged into a windowsill. And some days I didn't know my left from my right. Then I became pregnant, and I figured, hey, maybe this will stop. I held on to the glimmer of hope that, being pregnant would make the pain stop, would make the violence stop. It slowed down up until after I gave birth, and then it resurfaced again. This time, the explanation was because I gave too much attention to the child. This was a very painful time because the abuse not only engulfed me, it encompassed our firstborn. So it proceeded throughout the years, and I held on to this relationship because I had this idea in my head that a family unit is supposed to be mom and dad married together with the child. And you keep up all appearances. You go to church, you're smiling, but when you get home and you make one false move, or if you laugh too loud, or if you do something, the monster from within would rise up and attack you. I had people often say to me, oh, he's such a sweet man. And yeah, that's what you see on the outside. But when myself and my eldest son got home, we saw Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Being in a relationship like that, I held on for selfishness. And in turn, I caused more harm upon myself and my eldest. So when the second one came along, it was more hell on wheels. At that time I'm thinking, hey, maybe we can add to our family, and, God has given us this new blessing, and maybe things could change. They didn't change. They actually got worse. The beatings got more severe. The abuse became more severe with the older one. And when the little one came along, we begged and pleaded, hey, don't harm the little one. Just beat us. We'll take whatever punishment you want to give him. And as sad as it may sound, that was reality at one point. And and when the beatings came, they were severe. They happened every 3 years like clockwork. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Because in between the physical abuse, there was the mental abuse. There was the spiritual abuse, where I was always being told I'm putting God before him. Or why am I always thanking God before him? Give him credit instead of giving everything to God. Those are unhealthy. That's an unhealthy relationship, marriage. It was really unhealthy. But I proceeded to press on, even though I wanted to die every day. As the kids grew older, they would say, Mommy, you need a mirror. because you don't love yourself. Look in the mirror and see how beautiful you are. And I would take the mirror and throw it to the ground and it would crack. I don't want a mirror. I want it to die. I would wake up to die. I didn't want to live. Because here I am thinking, I took my vows with this man, and I vowed to love him and to honor. And he could take his hand and strike me with no provocation. Strike our eldest with no provocation. One day, I would always say, one day I'm going to get the strength and I'm going to leave. And, and every time I would get the strength to leave, I would always say, oh my God, what's going to happen to him? Is he going to be all right? So finally I decided to, try to have a life, to try and go out and, meet some friends who I had common ground with. That made the abuse even worse. I was isolated, where I barely visited my family, where I barely went out. And I noticed the first time I attempted to lose weight, the treatment I received was like capital punishment. So I decided, let me stop trying to lose weight. And he told me he preferred me fatter. So there's another form of abuse, food abuse. I turned to food in order to please him at the time. So, roller coaster ride, up and down, emotions, abuse, screaming, yelling, being told I was worthless or you're sorry. You know what I mean? The verbal put downs. Most people say, oh, well, as long as they're not hitting you, you're fine. No. Verbal is worse. All of it's bad. At any level, emotional, physical, mental, that stuff can weigh on you. So years had went by, and all of a sudden in 2011, he wakes up and says, oh, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back until this marriage is fixed. And in my mind, I'm thinking, you're leaving me with 2 kids. As I see him grabbing his stuff, and I'm just standing there and like, wow, you're actually leaving me to raise 2 kids by myself. Okay. He packs his bags and he goes. And I'm in the hallway crying my eyes out, and both of my sons come out and go, hey, what's wrong with you? God has answered our prayers. He's gone, Mama. He's gone. We don't have to worry about him hitting us. I didn't know the abuse was bad when I left the house. When he was fully gone, I changed the locks. It was like, you out there, you going on out there and you stay out there. We were freed. He once told me and the boys, y'all act like slaves who had been freed from their master. We were free. So one day, I was looking in the mirror at myself, and here I am at 500 plus pounds, size 36. Never was more than a size 16. And I looked at how 20 years had taken its toll on me. And I went to the doctor because I started having respiratory problems. I couldn't breathe. I was having poor circulation in my leg. My leg would fall asleep on me. It was just a whole host of health problems. Ladies, did you know that domestic violence, the beatings that you take, really mess up your body? It really messes with your health. I found that out once I went to the doctor, where I suffered neurological damage from my head being banged up, severely banged up against a wooden bed frame, where it damaged my hearing. Or sometimes when people talk to me, I have to lean in because I can barely hear. Or where, in one fit of rage, where one of my breasts were damaged, the breast tissue was damaged. Don't die for love, ladies. Don't die for love. And men, You're being abused, don't die for love. You got to get out of that. I didn't know how to let go. So God let him out. Moved him out of the way. And I literally was at rock bottom, or so I thought. I was at an advantage. I had the advantage and I just didn't know it. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor said to me, you got two things. You need to get up and you need to get your big behind out there. You need to walk. And two, you need a closer walk with God. Mind you, my doctor is an atheist. Told me he didn't believe in God. But he said to me that day, you need to walk with God. You need a closer walk with your God. Go out there. You need to do some walking. While you out there walking, you need to talk to your God because you need help. He's the only person that's going to get you through this. And I looked at him in outrage, like, how you going to tell me to get out there and walk? And who are you to tell me about God? You're an atheist. Exactly. You know something not right in America when an atheist tell you need to go ahead and go talk to God. So I got up one day and I put on these pants, workout pants and stuff, and I got out around that track. And I started walking. And they laughed at me while I was out there the first time. They was like, oh, look at her fat behind. Look at her. And I was crying. And I would go home crying every day. Which leads me into Mary. Go get it. Go get your blessings. I will see myself thinner, healthier. Not just, thinner, but more healthier, where I'm more mobile, where I can move around, where I didn't have to wear men's sneakers all the time and, wear a 6X shirt and big 36 size pants. Don't get me wrong. I just know that weight is unhealthy for me, for my body frame. And then I had suffered from uterine fibroids. I had uterine polyps. I had so many things going on the inside because weight around my midsection is really bad for me. It's really deadly for Nikki B. I see a lot of women with really big stomachs and, they're fine. With me, really bad for me. So I heard Mary listening, you got to go out there and get it. And I'm laying there like, okay, they're telling me to get up and go. The song is motivating me to get up and go. And that's when God said, you need to get up. You need to move around. You can't minister to my people if you're sick. How you going to tell people how to be free when you're bound? And I was bound to food, bound to not exercise, and I was just bound. I was just a mess. My oldest son, he was really overweight, and he got up and he went out there and he got his blessings. And he encouraged me, Mom, come on, let's go. You got to get up. And I would go out there and I would cry every day. Those kids will hold my hand. Both of my sons will hold my hand as I would go around that track. I would cry every day because the pain was unbearable, because I had never been mobile where I would get up and walk around. This time they would hold my hands, and it was amazing. The support that came pouring out of those two got me through some tough times. It helped me realize that even though I had suffered, victory was still mine. I went through some stuff that was necessary and unnecessary. Fear kept me there. And when God saw that I couldn't let go, He let go for me. Sometimes when we know something is so bad for us and we love it so much, but God says, I got something better. I want you to love yourself first. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I toiled for years, and God watched me go through so much to finally, He said, enough. But you got to take that step. You have to take the first step. And my journey began in 2011. Getting myself together right with Christ. Getting my life right. First. Looking in the mirror and loving who I am. First. Receiving the love and support from my sons. And not letting the antics of their dad get to me. Because when you step out of domestic violence relationships, honey, it's not going to be easy at first. But you got to step out on faith. You got to pray. You got to ask God for direction. He'll help you. But you got to be willing to keep pressing forward and don't look back. Because, honey, when you look back and you go back, it's far worse. They will beat you for old and new. I was told, had I not left you, I probably would have killed you. That sealed the deal for me. I was actually contemplating, even after all of that, to go back and give it one more try. That sealed the deal. I probably would have killed you. You've contemplated taking me away from the two people that love me the most. Nah, we good. We good. So, I got out there on that track. I exercised and I gave it to God. God gave me a support system. He gave me my two sons, Winston and Xavier, to help me every step of the way. God then led me to Faith Bridge Fellowship, where I met some wonderful people, including Mr. Eric Bendross, y'all. and I learned how to love. You know, the pastor preached about wrapping everything in love. I learned how to love because I wasn't a loving person. I was loving to the children, but I was not a loving person. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. You can love people but not be loving. I wasn't a loving person. I hated what I had become or what I had allowed myself to be. A doormat. And I almost died for love. Again, I tell you, don't die for love. Don't do it. Look in the mirror. Look to the heavens. What cometh your help? Look to the Lord. He's the only person that got me out and have this woman standing before you, Nikkie B. He's the only reason I'm still here and able to tell you my testimony that if God can do it for me and bring me out, he can do it for you. I'm still a work in progress, but he's healing those scars. He gave me beauty for ashes, strength for fear, and gladness for mourning. He gave me peace for despair. He gave me all of that. He sent restoration. He sent me his best by sending me Eric Bendross. But I had to go through something, because had he not changed me, I would have ran this fella off. I'm telling y'all. My husband's peaceful. I wasn't. I spewed venom. And for those of you who don't know what venom is, look at a snake. When they bite you, they inject you with venom. And venom is intended to kill you. When I bit people, I intended to hurt them. I wanted everybody to hurt like I was hurting. That goes back to that old saying, hurt people, hurt people. So that's what God came in. He removed the hurt. He removed the pain. And thank God he's healed the majority of the scars and turned me into a loving person and turned me into Nikkie Bendross. By him changing me, it inspired Nikkie's Guide to a Healthier Lifestyle, because I didn't get on some quick fix diet. I didn't get out there and take some diet pills. I'm not, I'm not knocking anybody, but I wasn't drinking any shakes or nothing. I just got out there and did it the whole old-fashioned way, rolled up my sleeves. And he was walking with me every day. He promised to never leave me nor forsake me. He has not. Even as I'm talking to you, being very transparent right now, he's with me. He promised to never leave me nor forsake me, and he's guided me through this process. Helped me become a better mother. Because the boys now are able to confide in me and tell me everything without fear of me snapping or going off. I can have a civilized conversation with my husband, with my mother, with my sisters, without always feeling like people are attacking me. Because not everybody in your life is sent to attack you. Some of them are here to help you. I know you might have had it rough. You done been beat down, cast aside, been told you was nothing. But God is able. He can help you. He will bring you out. He will make a way out of no way. But you got to trust him. You got to believe in him. Man can only take you but so far in this race called life. But God will take you to the end and dance that victory lap with you. He'll race with you. I'm kept because he kept me. I allowed myself to be kept. I pray that if you are in a relationship this way, just know you can come out. That God can help you. Even if you have kids, he can help you. He can help you, but he did not intend for you to be anybody's punching bag. Gentlemen, if you with a lady who want to jump and hit all on you because she knows she won't hit you, you won't hit her back, you can leave. Praying that's God, he'll guide her right on out of there. And one other thing, don't be afraid to use 911. That's my downfall, guys. I didn't put him in jail where he should have been. He should have been put in jail because the brother said to me, I basically got away with abusing you. Remember, they get away with nothing. We serve a God that sits high and looks down low. We don't get away with nothing. Remember, the devil don't have nothing, and he ain't gonna get nothing. He should have took me out when he had a chance, because, honey, I'm gonna kick the gates of hell off its hinges. The gates of hell will not prevail in Nikki B's life anymore, or anybody else connected to me. That's a kingdom promise. The Bible declares what we bind on earth, he will bind in heaven. And what we loose on earth, he will loose in heaven. And I loose peace in the homes. And I bind up any domestic violence, any kind of violence in any area of your life. And I render it inoperable in the name of Jesus. You are not a punching bag. You are worthy of love. You're worth it. You don't deserve to be beat down. Nobody deserves to be beat down. You deserve to be loved and cherished and honored. When you're in a marriage and the man is hitting you, honey, he's hurting himself. Because the Bible says the husbands ought to love their wives as Christ loved the church and lay down their life for it. And it says, wives, submit to your own husbands. No matter what you've done, it's no reason for you to be hit or slapped. When I talked about those scars from that marriage, then they're being healed. See, in this marriage is totally different with Nikkie Bendross. Whereas if I said something, I knew I would be slapped or grabbed at or something. So this time when I said something, my husband just looked at me and he walked over toward me and said, baby, we don't do that. We talk. And it was such a shock to me. It's like, whoa. You know, I was like waiting for something. And he's like, no. I'm not like that. I'm here to restore. God sent me to restore. And it's a totally different love. Because I submitted to God first. And I allowed him to help me through this. It's still kind of painful. But I had to allow him to help me through it. When I look at the choices that I've made, like, again, they were necessary and unnecessary choices, unnecessary pain that was caused. But it made me better, made my relationship with Winston and Xavier better. I have no ill will towards their father. I just let go and just gave it to God. And that's what you have to do. You have to be strong enough to say, God, I can't do this. I need you. I need your help. He'll help you through it. He'll see you through it. Because guess what? I got remarried again. Winston and Xavier have a different type of love in their life. Very encouraging. Very supportive. And this is not to build up Eric Bendross the man. This is to give glory to God. Because Eric Bendross wouldn't be the man that he is had he not surrendered to the Lord. So this is just to glorify God, because he's a man after God's own heart. Again, I say, this is not to glorify Eric Bendross, honey. This is to glorify God. Eric Bendross wouldn't be the man that he is had he not surrendered to God and continually, daily surrenders to God. Thank you guys for listening. And I pray that this testimony helps somebody, that it was a blessing to you, to just know that you are the head and not the tail. You are above and not beneath. And your Father made you fearfully and wonderfully made. You're going to beat this. And you have a great day. Again, thank you for listening. I love you all.